Welcome back to another episode of Sips and Screams, where twin sister horror movie fanatics sip themed cocktails and discuss our favorites in the genre. Well, it's Oscar season, and today we are finally digging into an Oscar juggernaut, Sinners, from 2025. Written and directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan. Also starring Miss Josh Allen herself, Haley Steinfeld, who's fantastic in this, Delroy Lindo, Miles Caton in his first role ever. We'll get all into that later. Also starring Wunmi Musaku, Omar Benson Miller, Jamie Lawson, Jack O'Connell, and many, many others. This one is, well, I thought about it, and I really think it's a coming-of-age story, isn't it?
It's a version of one.
It is. It's about a young man chasing his dream of becoming a blues musician in the 1930s in the Deep South. And it also has some crime-loving entrepreneurial twin brothers, which we can definitely relate to.
100%.
They're returning to their hometown. It has unrequited love, loss, and did I mention blood-sucking vampires? Whew. It's a pulse-pounding, vibey thriller horror, and we cannot wait to unpack it all. I'm Ashley, and joining me today, as always, is my twin sister, Allie. And we kind of assigned ourselves Smoke and Stack, didn't we?
We did. I'm rocking blue today for those of you listening, and Ash is rocking some red today.
Yeah, so
we're taking on Stack and Smoke.
I really think we thought about it. We asked each other, who do you think you relate to more? And I was like, Stack. And Allie was like, Smoke. We didn't even have to argue. We just immediately assigned each other.
Yeah. So Smoke's the more responsible one,
he is.
I'd say. Stack's more of the risk taker.
He is.
Potentially. Yeah.
He's like the risk taker and maybe a little more evil, right? More to come on that.
Suits you to a T. Yeah.
I mean, it really does. And I already have my red shirt picked out. So it just, it was a really easy choice. As always, you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Our handle is at Sips and Screams Pod. And please like, rate, and subscribe. You can also email us at sipsandscreams.podcast@gmail.com. And we are absolutely everywhere where you get your podcasts. All right, Smoke, it's our first segment. What time is it?
Oh, it is. And Smoke would enjoy this, too.
Yeah.
It is killer cocktail time.
That's right. I think we should actually, only refer to each other as Smoke and Stack throughout this. All right. So you're Smoke, I'm Stack. I won't answer to anything else.
For the rest of our lives. You heard it here first.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What are we drinking?
Well, there were a couple choices we could have gone with, right? A couple choices we had in this one. I think we could have done whiskey. We could have done... Maybe it was just two, whiskey, and then Irish beer. And you know what? I haven't had Irish beer in some time, so we went with Irish beer today.
I didn't even know Irish beer. They had any other Irish beer except for, I knew Guinness was a thing.
Guinness.
Right? Yeah. We all go out on St. Patrick's Day. But apparently there's other Irish beer, everybody. So
there are, yeah. And I think you have a good one over there. I was trying to get Harp Lager. Current husband, I say me, it was current husband, going out to try to find this for me this morning, and we're
like a caveman foraging, going to get you.
But it is because we live in Baltimore. For those of you who don't know, Maryland has some interesting liquor laws, and so you actually can't buy alcohol at regular stores on Sundays. So there was one option we could go to, and so I am drinking an Irish beer, but it is not a lager. It is. I've never even heard of this before. Everybody,
what?
It is Conway's Irish Ale.
Conway's Irish Ale.
A little can. Yeah, okay. Conway's Irish Ale. It's kind of a red, and then it's sort of like an amber color.
I want to give a shout out to some friends of ours that have a beer podcast in Canada, The Pint Taken. Also very clever. You know what, guys? So this one's for you. We're drinking some weird beer.
Is for you
that we never drink.
I want to know. I'm sure they've heard of Harp. I doubt anyone, but please let us know. Have you heard of Conway's Irish Ale? Because I certainly have not.
Yeah, Mike, let us know if you've heard of this. I've definitely had Harp before, so this is a little trip down memory lane. I live in Florida, so it is lawless. No problem getting this beer any time of day, night. Just go down to the, drugstore. Oh yeah, anywhere, no problem. Okay, I actually have to open it and pour it. So you already poured yours.
It's already pre-poured. Yeah. Do you mind if I have a sip, Ash, or I'll wait for you?
No, you can have a sip. Go for it.
No.
Ooh, mine's a nice color. Yeah.
Yeah, yours is a lager. Mine is some sort of
horrible.
It's kind of syrupy. I don't know if I like it, everybody. I'm not sure I recommend it, but
That's the one thing you don't want your beer to be syrupy. Gross.
Well, this is what I'm working with today, right? Oh, look at you. And also, I love that glass.
Yes. Well, you gifted us.
Yeah,
you gifted us these for
it's
Christmas.
a Christmas gift this year.
It has quite a bit ahead, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to try it.
Cheers.
It's fine. It tastes like, you know what it tastes like? Moose head, which is like
Moose
also
head.
a Canadian beer.
That's a
Tastes like.
Canadian throwback. Yeah. I feel like I always say things taste like Moosehead or Alpine, like any kind of lager.
This is very good.
It's a lager. Yeah.
The more I drink it, you know.
Yours.
No, the more I drink it, no, it's not moose head. It's like, what's the one you get? It's like an acai beer. No, like you get it when you get sushi. What's that one?
Acai?
Like an acai. Yeah. Is that what it is? Yeah. It tastes like that, actually. It's really good.
Or Sapporo.
Sapporo. Yes, it tastes exactly like Sapporo.
Okay. Well, you enjoy that. I'm going to suffer through this one over here.
This is delicious.
But cheers.
Yeah, cheers. All right, it is time for Sips and Synopsis. Allie, as always, take it away. Tell us about the plot of Sinners.
Happy to, Ash. Before doing so, as always, gonna have a little sip of this beer. Again, is it growing on me? Maybe by the end of the podcast, I'll be enjoying it.
I don't know. The look on your face, it doesn't look like, she's wincing, everybody. It's just Irish beer.
It's a little bitter for me, everyone.
They haven't improved on like Coors Light and Bud Light, have they?
No, they haven't.
It's delicious.
Bud Light, give me Coors Light, yeah. Sinners. Movie came out last year. Takes place in 1932 in Mississippi.
It's a period piece.
So, a year before Prohibition ended, everybody. I looked this up. I was not aware that Prohibition was from 1920 to 1933. So we're in that last year before Prohibition is ending. Yeah, it was a long time.
I didn't even clock that. Had no idea.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
Prohibition.
I had no idea.
What did you think the juke joints were? What did you think these were? Why they had to be like hidden out in things? Yeah,
I'm like hearing this for the first time. I just thought they were like entrepreneurial. Like they're like, okay, we can make some money.
Well, they were entrepreneurial, but it was done under the guise like illegal. It was.
I just thought they stole the alcohol and were making money on it. I didn't know it was like bootlegging or what?
Yeah, bootlegging. Well, there was a reason why. Yeah, all this was done. Very, very in secret, right? And there was a reason why all this was happening because it was Prohibition era. Again, they've been dealing with it for some time at this point in 1932. I'd say this movie, it's 3 acts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's accurate. It's interesting. It's 3 acts, and man, do they throw you a curveball when those vampires show up. I mean, again, all of us who watched the trailer and heard about this movie, the marketing campaign was huge, so we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
But it kind of comes out of nowhere.
If you didn't, you're like,
I did it.
Is this a cool like musical?
What is that?
Deep South. And you're like, oh my God.
Musical. Yeah. But speaking of music, I will say the soundtrack is amazing, and I think it starts right out that way, right?
Oh my God.
The soundtrack, the cinematography, 100%.
This movie.
It starts out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go on and on about it, but a delight. I watched it for the first time the other night, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is
sorry, you hadn't seen it before?
No, I've never seen it. I was like waiting.
Oh.
I was like waiting for the right time to watch it. I didn't watch it in the theater.
Watched it.
No?
I have some thoughts on this, and we'll talk about this later when we do Screamometer and everything. But
I think we're going to like go at it when we talk about this movie.
I think we might. And also, I watched it for the second time on a plane when I was flying home, which I got to say, fun place to watch a movie because there's nothing else to do, right? So you're very into it, very enthralled.
Yeah. But you just have your little screen.
Country, I was into it. Yeah. But I had seen it before. I saw it last year, not in the theater, but at home. So there's 3 acts of this movie. Starts out with the present, I guess, and then it goes back.
Yeah.
So it starts right out, and you see this kid, Sammy, driving home in a car. He's very bloody. Looks like he's been hurt quite a bit. And he's
not going very fast.
He's not.
That car is
he's carrying
putting along.
Yeah, and he's carrying what looks like to be the last pieces of a guitar. And so he goes into a church. You realize that I think you do it even at that point, right? That the minister of this church is his father. asks him to swear to leave those sinning ways behind. So there are a lot of mentions of sinning and sins throughout the movie, right? And you kind of learn from the very beginning that music is related to that. Yeah. So music is a sin, playing music is a sin.
The devil's music.
In devil's music, exactly. So his dad really wants him to drop that guitar. So that very first scene, you see that Sammy is alive, but he's quite hurt, and he's missing a piece of his guitar
and pieces of his face. Dude has
he's got like a scratches. That's Freddy Krueguer. It's like a Freddy Krueguer scratch on the side of his face.
It is.
Yeah, it really is.
And the father is just more concerned about his music playing than the blood gushing from his face.
That's true. That is true. I'm not saying the parenting is great in this movie. But yeah, so now we go back to a day earlier. So again, you know how it's going to end, at least a part of it.
Yeah.
But we're back to a day earlier. In the cotton fields. I think one thing this movie does really well, right, is it's classified as a horror, right? But I think there's a lot of drama there too, and a lot of history that this movie is evoking as well, and the cinematography
and comedy. I was like laughing, like the script is so good, it's so funny.
Yeah. There's but speaking of some of the comedy, we'll talk about some of the lines in this movie that I think made it a viral sensation, right? There was a lot of this on TikTok and on various social media. Yeah. We'll talk about it. I think you can make some of it a drinking game, actually, throughout this movie.
Okay, cannot wait to hear about this.
Yeah.
I love the movies. I actually love it when it's just one night. I love that. It's just I don't know. It kind of raises the stakes. Like it's going to be the whole night, but it's just, I love when they set that up right away.
It does, love that. But I don't like knowing the ending. I would have rather not known the Sammy situation.
Well, it wasn't the ending, Al.
Well, no, it wasn't. You're right. It wasn't. And post-credit scenes of this movie are fantastic. Okay, we're a day earlier. Sammy's picking cotton and is going home to his mom. So throughout this movie, you're going to see a lot of this, right? They making your quota for the picking of the cotton, and how the money comes into play here, because now when Smoke and Stack come into town, right, they have a reason to get some of these people to come work at their juke joint that they're hosting for the night, because they're able to provide a better wage.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty good wage for back then.
Yeah, exactly. But we're introduced to the two Michael B. Jordan characters, two twin brothers.
Yep.
Right? Smoke and Stack. So Smoke's kind of the more, I guess, responsible one. Stack is the more risque one, I guess, if we were going to describe them.
Yeah. And he's more like fun-loving and taking, like you said,
Stack
kind of taking risks.
Fun-loving, less serious.
Smoke is way more serious. His ability to play both, like the subtle differences. I mean, they had to use the color, obviously, because it's the same. There's not even like the subtle physical differences.
It was like
the same actor.
The gold tooth in one of them as well. Yeah.
So they clearly did that on purpose, but I loved it immediately. I was like, this is so good.
All right. So Smoke and Stack waiting by this sawmill. And they're talking about it, and they're actually waiting for what they refer to as a Klan man. Yeah. So this white man's coming in.
Jesus.
They refer to him as a Klan man. Yeah. I mean, that was the times. And so he's coming in. Smoke and Stack are trying to purchase this sawmill because they want to turn it into a juke joint, which, Ash, guess you didn't know this. It was Prohibition era.
Completely over my head.
Just bars you can go to. So they created these illegal bars, basically, right, for people to come and drink and have fun.
Okay.
But again, he even asks him. So this older white man shows up. And ask them what they're going to do with this place. And I don't even at that point, I don't even think they let him know what they're going to do with it. But they take the whole place and they buy it with a big duffel bag of cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like when he's talking to him. I don't know if it was Smoke or Stack. I think it was Smoke, and then Stack comes up behind with a duffel bag. They're like,
just take the money.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah. So clearly Smoke and Stack have some money to spend. They make a comment about the Klan. Even this white man says the Klan doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some foreshadowing certainly happening in that very first scene. But yeah, so now it goes, so it's going to cross between at the very beginning, right? You have Smoke and Stack, and then you have Sammy. And I would say Sammy's the protagonist of this movie. Ash, would you agree? Yeah, he's kind of the main character.
Like, yeah, for sure, he's the main character. Michael B. Jordan's like top billing, but I would say Sammy.
But Sammy has, it's kind of his story, as you said, the coming of age
story.
Sammy,
Preacher Boy,
aka Creature Boy. His dad is a minister. And, you're kind of seeing from the very beginning that he is struggling with this divide of his parents, his dad wanting him to give sermons in church,
take over the family business.
Exactly, I guess. So you have
He's
to
like,
become a preacher. Yeah. And Sammy has this talent, and he likes to play the blues. He's got a great voice, so he wants to pursue that. And he struggles with it, right? Because he learns from his father that music is sinful. Mm-hmm. And I guess I didn't speak to this at the beginning, but it's a theme throughout the movie that music not only being simple, but can conjure up some evil things. One of those things is vampires, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it can conjure, it was like in good and evil, right?
Yeah.
You can use it for like good and bad.
Connect people. Yeah, exactly.
Spiritual connection.
Yep. But they certainly connect music with the devil. Mm-hmm. His dad even says to him, you keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home.
I mean, like every 1950s, 60s
it's
portrayals
like all over again, everybody.
Like the Elvis movie, like all those movies, it's like the rock and roll music's the devil.
Rock and roll, exactly. But they took a different way in this movie, right? Not just the devil, some vampires. Mm-hmm. So Sammy, we learned that Sammy is cousins of Smoke and Stack. Mm-hmm. So their fathers were brothers.
Right.
Yeah. And, Smoke and Stack's dad, not a great dad, quite abusive to them. Mm-hmm. Sammy's dad, luckily, although
he named them Smoke and Stack. So.
Well, I think those are their nicknames, Ash. One of them is Elijah, I believe.
Really? Is there other names?
No. I love that there's some things that went off your head in this movie.
I took a lot of it at face value. I was just enjoying the ride.
Definitely named Elijah because he talks about it later.
Oh, right.
Names. That was Smoke and Stack are the nicknames, everybody.
Okay.
Not the names of
all right.
them. But he was abusive. Smoke and Stack's dad was abusive. So they pick Sammy up. They kind of let him in on their plan. They go to this truck that's been hidden in the woods where he's got some booze hidden, right? Some Irish beer, I think some other things in there.
Yeah.
At this point, they split up. So Smoke and Stack have got to split up. They've got to get things ready to prep that sawmill for the juke joint that's happening later that night.
Yeah. They're like assembling the team. The ragtag team.
They are a ragtag team. So they're going to go all throughout the town, and they're going to gather what they need to pull this off. Exactly.
We need a sign. We need some catfish. We need some musicians.
Smoke handles that. So Smoke handles the catfish and the sign.
It up.
Stack and Sammy go handle the musician and also inviting people to the juke joint later that night.
They're like the PR. The promoters, if you will. And Smoke's handling the logistics.
Well, they worked, so we learned throughout too, they worked for Al Capone, the gangster in Chicago, right? So they were working with him, I guess, and I think stole some things. And, there was a reason they're back in Mississippi. Things weren't working out too well for them in Chicago.
I think it worked out really well for them in Chicago.
Well, did it though?
I mean, they made out like bandits.
They stole it. Yeah, they stole it all. They stole all the alcohol.
Yeah.
So Smoke is in town. He goes to see I believe he must have been friends with them, right? He seems to know them, Grace and Bo, who own, I think, a seafood place and a sign store.
Yeah.
So they go there and he's securing a bunch of catfish for the night.
It wasn't like a sign.
Going to need a sign.
A sign store. Like
there were two different stores. There was the store and then he went over to her store. I don't know, but I'm not sure. But she made signs. Grace made signs, all right, everybody? She made signs. She made the sign for Club Juke. So they were negotiating, figured it out. And then, so that's happening. Smoke's, being responsible and making sure they have food and a sign for the night. Mm-hmm. And Stack and Sammy are going to find some entertainment.
Yeah.
During this, you learn, so Sammy actually plays for Stack, the guitar that they had given him that Stack said they won off of some, I guess, famous blues musician.
Yeah, they won it.
They won it, yeah.
They killed the guy and took it.
Stack's excited. Yes, Stack's excited because Sammy... but no, it wasn't. They won it. You learn later it was actually their dad's guitar.
Yeah.
But they talk about that later. But Sammy starts singing and man, Sammy's got a voice.
What a voice. So unique, really low.
Really low. But his tone in general in this movie is a very low.
And that's his real voice.
Is it his real voice?
Yes.
Okay.
I will talk about it.
We did that. Okay.
And we talk about some of the behind the scenes, but yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
That's all him.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. But they go to the train station because that's where Delta Slim is playing. They're from Monica. So he's a local musician / alcoholic. So they knew that one of the ways they could get him to come play for them was offer him some alcohol that he hasn't had in some time. So again, that's why he's so excited about the beer ash, because it's prohibition.
But he has a flask. What's he drinking out of
His
that?
flask. I don't know. Yes.
Mouthwash?
Moonshine. I don't know. Maybe some moonshine. I mean, moonshine was a big deal.
Every
Maybe
time
some
I
moonshine,
see
something else.
someone with a flask,
He's
it makes
great.
me want one. I don't even like hard liquor, but
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's
I know,
just cool.
It is
You know?
cool. It is cool. Yeah. He's cool. Delta Slim's cool.
Yeah, he
plays the harmonica, has a local gig every Saturday night.
Yeah.
And they convince him to come with them. And it's not about the money. It's the beer that does it. The Irish beer, if you will.
Right. Okay. I need to rewatch it because I didn't put two and two together, but I just accepted that, like, okay, they were going to pay him a little bit more and give him free booze. So I'm like, yeah, it's a good deal. But I didn't get the prohibition.
No,
thing.
it was the fact that he hadn't had that kind of beer in a long time. So they secure Delta Slim. He's going to come play at the juke joint. Sammy also takes this opportunity. He meets Pearline. Is her name? Pearline. Yeah, so she's a singer as well, but he invites her. She says she's married. Sammy certainly likes her at that point, but he invites her to it, and she says she might show up.
So how old do you think Sammy is?
16 in this, maybe?
19.
19. Okay. Drinking age, well, I don't know. Drinking age was 18 back then. I looked this up as well. So drinking age was 18. So he was old enough.
Like Montreal.
I don't know. I thought he was 16.
No,
Yeah.
he's supposed to be 19.
Yeah.
19. He's 19.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be a little disturbing. He was supposed to be 16.
16.
Like, how old is Caroline?
I'm not sure. I'd say she's probably early 20s.
Okay. I guess they got married.
Fair enough, Ash. Fair enough. Yeah.
19. It'll make you feel better knowing that he's 19 for the rest of this journey. Yes,
that's true. I'm glad you cleared that up, Ash,
Yeah.
because I was thinking he was younger than that. They really kind of treated him like a kid, but he was 19.
Well, they're like in their 30s. He's 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Smoke a stack in their 30s. Sammy's 19. He invites Pearline to it, who is married, but you know what? They're consenting adults. So that's good to know. Also at the train station, we see in the distance Haley Steinfeld's character. And it looks like Stack is now happy to see her. No, it's not happy to see her.
My God, like, I've only seen her in like Pitch Perfect and like her music career. She steals
she's
every
in True Grit. Her first movie was True Grit.
It was True Grit, really?
Yeah,
I had no
she
idea.
was like a kid in True Grit.
Oh, yeah.
And she was nominated for an Oscar, I believe.
Oh, she was. She is something else, like a scene stealer. Like, wow. She's really good in this movie.
Yeah, they certainly give her some scenes and some lines that are memorable.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah. She's good.
Yeah, so we learned that Mary is back in town. So she doesn't live in this town in Mississippi either, but she's back in town because her mother had passed away and the funeral was the day prior. So she's certainly giving Stack a hard time for not showing up to her mother's funeral.
Yeah.
Because her mother helped raise Smoke and Stack as well, we learn.
Right. I mean, like, it was kind of hard back then to travel. Like, you would take in the train, but Chicago to Mississippi, it's quite the
I
trek.
would assume that's the distance. Yeah, that is a trek. That is a trek. Well, I don't know if she lived in Chicago. I don't know where Mary lived.
No, I think she lived down there.
No, she was in town. No, she was back in town for her mother's funeral.
Oh, she
didn't live
also
there
lived in
either.
Chicago?
I believe. I don't know if she lived in Chicago, but she didn't live in Mississippi. Is my
Oh, okay. Okay.
I believe. But yeah. So we also learned that Mary and Stack used to date.
Yeah.
Hook up, date, whatever you want to call it. I mean,
She says some pretty vulgar things.
Yeah, I gotta say, I
will not repeat.
Obviously, we're not going to repeat them, but there's certainly a lot of language devoted to, and you could. This is what I was talking about, a drinking game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. Like what she's saying. There's a few different places. It's shock value. I feel like it's like
value.
a shock value.
Yeah.
Like the oral sex.
Yeah.
A lot of the oral sex talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few different places in this movie where they talk about that.
It's true. No, you could make a drinking
that was
game
on purpose.
Yeah.
You could make it a drinking game. Because I think in the first act alone, 3 or 4 mentions.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So, the Stack met Mary at the train station. So she knows they're back in town. But now Stack and Sammy are going to go get themselves a bouncer for the night.
Yeah.
So they go back to the cotton fields and they go to their friend, I guess. I mean, they certainly seem like they knew him.
Yeah.
Cornbread. So this large man, Cornbread, and him and his wife are in the fields. And they offer Cornbread money to come be the bouncer for the night at the juke joint. So they just, pick him up and he goes along with them, right?
Yeah.
Again, they're assembling
their team. It's kind of like Ocean's 11, when they're assembling the team. It's very similar.
Yeah. They're getting people with very specific skills.
Yeah.
To help set this juke joint up, Club Juke. But so Cornbread's on board. They've got the Smoke has secured the catfish and the sign. But we also learned he has some other unfinished business in town.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's going to this house and this makeshift grave. We learned that his son died.
I didn't know it was a
baby infant son. Yeah,
I didn't learn. We did learn it was the. But again, so many things that I did not clock till the end. That I'm like, oh, that was.
I had seen it already. Yeah. So mine was it was his son. So he goes to, and this is I guess his ex-wife or his ex-lover, someone that he was obviously the mother of his
current lover.
Yeah. I think ex when he left, but current during the movie. But she has a voodoo store.
But like the grave, when I first saw the grave, I'm like, what in the world?
Oh, you thought it was like Blair Witch?
I didn't know. I'm like, there was like, is that a milk bag? Like a thing of salt? It's like a thing. It's like Wilson on a rock, basically. It's like a handprint on like a rock. It looked like
she had like a voodoo store, so I think it was So I think there was some sort of protection or something she.
But on first watch, okay, sure. But on first watch, you're like, what is this?
Okay, so Smoke is visiting his dead son's grave. And we are introduced to Miss Annie. So Miss Annie comes out of the house that's there, and we learn that she's the mom, right, of Smoke and her son Elijah, in that grave that's there. And we learn that Annie has a voodoo store. I think it's like a voodoo or hoodoo.
No,
store.
It's hoodoo out. They actually get hoodoo. No, they get into it.
Hoodoo. So there's a lot. Okay, it's a hoodoo store. Okay.
Go watch our
There's a lot of different things in that store.
We talk about the differences
and hoodoo. We do. There are differences. But Smoke has another reason for being there. He wants Annie to cook for them that night. So they're not only are they going to have alcohol, but they're going to have food too. So he's trying to get Annie to come cook for them at the juke joint.
Sounds fun. I'm like, I want to go to this party.
Yeah, it does sound fun. I mean, it looks fun. Yeah. And I think you're learning that there's definitely some unfinished business there. I mean, their son died, and he left because it was so painful, and it's still painful for both of them. But this leads to a rather intense, I'd say, sex scene. Also, right at the beginning, and kind of out of nowhere. Some of these scenes, right, certainly feel like they're in there, for some gratuitous value for sure. But yeah, things aren't over between Annie and Smoke. That's for sure. We are now in Act 2 of the movie, so that. Whole first part was them really gathering everyone up to get ready for the juke joint. And Act 2 starts this is a shock. Again, if you didn't know what was happening, a lot of us did because you saw the marketing. But Act 2 starts with a guy who's very burned, this Irish guy who's burned. And it's smoke just like emanating happens upon this house. It's going off of him. And he opens the door, and I guess how he appeals to these two white people in this house, and he even sees in the corner, right, that they have a KKK mask, whatever you called it. So clearly they were also part of the Klan, and he's appealing to them by saying that these Indian men are after him, right? So he needs some shelter. He needs to get let in. So they do invite him in. He gives them some gold as well. That sun is setting. And maybe a couple minutes later, the Indian gentleman that he was referring to comes to the house and is basically warning them, right? Is telling them, did you see this man? Did he come in? He's very dangerous. He's not who he seems. Yeah. And the woman, it's interesting. She goes back. I guess her husband's Bert. The name is Bert. She goes back, and Bert, certainly not himself either. No. Yeah. So the Irish vampire guy is dripping in blood, and Bert's in the corner, and he's now been, I guess, bitten and turned. Yeah. And clearly they then turn the woman as well. So now there's 3. Now they've got 3 vampires. 3 vampires. They're going to wreak some havoc for the rest of the movie.
I love when they turn, like their eyes turn kind of like a yellow red. Right? It's great.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of
I like that they did that. Yeah. that they showed the difference. It's reminiscent of Mothman.
Kind of, yeah.
But, meanwhile, so that's happening. You see the kind of that part of it. But we go back to Club Juke, and Club Juke is up and running. Yeah. And there's a lot of people there already. They're fast. And it looks fun. It's busy. There's some fun music. Sammy's woman interest, Pearline, she shows up too.
Yeah. How did they all get there? It's not like they were taxis.
I think they walked.
They walked there?
There weren't cars out there either.
Yeah. So they all just
Caroline
walked
did.
for hours.
Caroline walked because she mentions that later.
But for hours.
Yeah,
Because they
so.
drove
walked
to
out in
this
the middle of nowhere.
place.
But you couldn't be seen, right? Ash, it wasn't illegal, but these things weren't legal.
That makes more sense.
The Prohibition era. But yeah, so Mary also shows up. So Stack's former love interest, Mary, Haley Steinfeld's character, she shows up as well. She seems to know everybody. But she's, I think, one of the only white people who's in the juke joint that night. So there's some concern there, but she knows everyone. She's like family.
She's family, but also she talks about her ancestry and how was it her father?
Yeah.
Or her grandfather?
Her father. Yeah.
Yeah, African American. And so she feels like a part of the family. So that's part of it.
Yeah, and she grew up with Smoke and Stack too.
Yeah.
So it's just, she knows a lot of people. So Cornbread lets her in. It's all good. She runs into Sammy. Sammy just is aware that Stack won't be happy that she's there because Stack's really trying to stay away from Mary for, I guess, her own protection. But Mary is excited to see little Sammy, asks him if he's old enough to have a drink. So I guess, yes, he had to have been older than 18. So I'm glad you pointed that out, Ash.
He was 19.
Mary and Sammy have a drink. So Sammy's having a great night, I gotta say.
Yeah, he's having a great night. It's like his dream.
He's having it's a good night for him. Of course, Mary, meets Stack in there as well. We learn a little bit more about their relationship, that he left her. But in the end, it was for her own good, basically. So he's been trying to protect her. But basically, I mean, at this point, they're kind of rekindling that romance, right? Yeah. But at this point as well, Sammy, it's now his opportunity to get up and play some blues on his own. So he gets that guitar, gets up there, he starts singing, and this is the scene. I think this scene was talked a lot about. I think one of the reasons also it's an Oscar contender, that it combines all these different kinds of music. And I'm assuming, maybe you'll get into this later, that it was a one-shot scene.
It was a winner.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it was a winner.
Yeah. And so he starts playing the blues, but we learned it starts connecting the various different genres of music and kind of how that has changed throughout the time, and also dance as well. So it's a fantastic scene. And there's that kind of that voiceover, right? That music not only connects people, but also can conjure up some evil, I guess, like the devil as well. And so those vampires certainly like it.
Well, it goes from like African tribal music to like blues to hip hop. And then there's people throughout the scene dressed in the different like decades, right? The different times. And it's quite stunning. Like if you were to watch, like I was dazzled by that scene. It was amazing.
I was like shocked though, when it first starts happening, when you first see it, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because they show the hip hop piece, which is obviously many decades later.
Yeah. It's so cool.
That was really cool. But it's to show, how music can really kind of connect people.
Yeah.
But also can conjure spirits of the past and future.
Right.
So it's sort of setting the stage that, those vampires are into this too.
And they're also musicians. They're like, ooh.
Yeah. Very different kind of music with their fiddles and their banjos.
Like so lame what they're doing. Well, I think it's like, it's like real tame and stuff. I mean, it's still good like music. But what they're doing at the juke joint is like
great.
Like ethereal,
Yes. But yeah, so vampires coming on, they're attracted to the music that's happening in there. Sammy's also, making some moves of his own. Paraline is there.
Yeah.
He's making some moves at his 19-year-old self on Paraline.
Yes.
They're hooking up in one of the rooms. Again, Sammy's having a good night.
Stack kind of gave him some pointers too for this eventual.
Did give us some pointers.
Hookup.
Yeah. So he's using those, and apparently they're working out pretty well.
He like walks by, like, oh,
he's like,
I won't even repeat some of the. Yeah, I won't repeat some of the. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. You can watch it. That's what I was saying, like a coming of age type of story.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, but so the vampires coming on in, so they're approaching the door. Cornbread, as we knew from earlier, right? He's the bouncer. So these three white vampires, again, they look like people. We know they're vampires, but these three white people come to the door. They've got money to spend. Cornbread's certainly holding the line at that door.
They also got some like banjos.
They start playing their banjos. Yeah, they start playing the banjos. They like music, so they were drawn to the music.
Yeah.
And they want to be invited in. So it's interesting too, right? They're like, why? Like that's confusing to them. But they're Smoke and Stack come out, they're skeptical.
Yeah.
They don't think that they want to let these three white people in.
Yeah.
They seem kind of out of place. It seems a little odd. And so they're not let in, and they take their little banjos and they slowly walk away too, which is it's a very comical scene as they're slowly walking away. They don't leave. They go out kind of in the distance, but
like we're going to walk slowly in case you change your mind.
Maybe you'll change your mind. Yeah, exactly.
We're just going to go play over here in the corner in case you change your mind.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah. But I think one of the reasons, and I think it's an important thing to point out here, the reason why they do go back out and see if they're legit and if they do have money to spend is because a lot of the people that are in the juke joint that night, they're not paying full price for their drinks, right? So there's not as much money being spent on the alcohol and the food
the twins
I think they were hoping, as they expected. So things are done a little differently in that town in Mississippi.
What, like, do Smoke and Stack think that like people are saving up their money to like go out on Saturday night?
I don't know what they think. I know, and there's still they're spending some money there, but I think they were expecting more. So basically, these Irish people that came in with their banjos and they said they had gold, they said they had money, right? They are curious and they think that they might need that. So so Stack and Mary are chatting. Mary offers to go out and see if they're legit, see if they actually do have money to spend. So she leaves, she goes out there, she talks to them. It's clear that it is about the money at that point. They show her the gold money. It doesn't seem like it's from this time.
Yeah.
It seems like it's pretty old.
Yeah. Another century even. All
right. So, things are kind of being a little sketchy. Mary's a little concerned with kind of how they're acting because they seem almost, I think it's at one point too, the Irish guy is almost drooling over her or something.
Yeah.
She's like, what is this? So she leaves. Yeah.
The drooling is really gross.
Is a big part of this. It is really gross. And I think everyone who's seen it knows that scene that's coming up. So she walks away and then kind of it's a split second. So she's going back into the juke joint, but there's a split second where you see the one vampire basically flying behind her. So you learn that they can fly too.
Yeah. It goes right up in the air. Like Mothman.
Right up. So now cut to Mary coming back in. So you don't know exactly what happened, but you can assume what happened, with those vampires. So she's coming back in. She convinces Cornbread to let her in. And it's an interesting scene. She does a good job with it, right? Yeah. She's like, you're just going to stand there in my way. Yeah. So he invites her in. So Mary's, we know that she's been turned. She's now a vampire. She gets let in. So now we have a vampire in the juke joint.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And now it's, I'd say, Act 3. Yeah. The next part, the most action of this entire movie.
This is where things get real.
They do a lot.
This is the horror
in Act 3. This is the horror. And for those of you who are listening, I'm using air quotes there, and we'll talk about this in Scream and Meter Ash. But Mary's in. Cornbread lets her in. Act 3. Cornbread needs to relieve himself.
So funny.
Yeah, he's been standing at that door for some time.
Yeah.
So he needs to relieve himself, and Delta Slim comes out, and so Cornbread goes running off into the woods, and Delta Slim is now the musician, right? Who's been hired to play his harmonica at the juke joint.
Everyone has to help out.
Manning the door. Yeah, they do. He's manning the door. Exactly. All right. So Cornbread's out there relieving himself. Delta Slim's at the door. Mary finds Stack, tells him, that money that those white people at the door is legit. Yeah, it's legit. It's real. So again, she's trying to get them to let them in, right? But meanwhile, Mary and Stack seem to be reconciling. They go off to a separate room. Is it the same room from before? Is it the same room that Sammy and Pearline were in? I don't know.
This one room with a barn door.
It's the room. It's like the hookup room. I mean, yeah. So it's just a party, and that's the hookup room. So Mary and Stack are in there having a good time. There's that scene. Everyone knows the scene with the drooling as well. Yeah. So now that Mary's a vampire, she's also drooling. Stack points it out. I don't even. It's quite disturbing.
Gross. Yeah, I don't like it. She drools in his mouth.
Ugh.
She's like, he wants those.
She asks if he wants some, and he drools in her mouth, and he seems into it.
It's not an enjoyable scene.
He's really gross. Stack is into it. That's the thing. He's into it. Yeah. Sammy's trying to find Stack.
He's a risk taker.
Yes, Stack's risk taker's into that drool. Yeah. But Sammy's trying to find Stack. I think Smoke sent him to find him. He actually walks in. He sees that they're, doing their thing in there. He shuts the door. But Smoke is like, no, we need Stack out here now.
Get in there. Break this up.
Yeah. Yeah, so Smoke goes in there, goes back in that room, and this time there's a little bit more going on in that room. Yeah, Mary is just biting him, right? Mm-hmm. So she's just on top of him. There's a lot of blood.
Going to town on his neck. She really gets in there.
She really does. She really does. There's a lot of blood. Smoke is armed. They're all armed. A lot of them during this movie, right? Mm-hmm. He shoots. She gets up. She's like dripping with his blood. Smoke shoots Mary, but it doesn't seem to do anything.
And she has the iconic line.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, but is the iconic line yet? When's the iconic line? We're going to kill every last one of you.
Oh, as she runs away.
Yeah, it's so good.
Kill the best one of you. Yeah, and she runs away, and she's got some speed, Mary.
Oh, yeah.
She leaves. Yeah, she leaves that barn, that sawmill, after Smoke has shot her a few times.
Like as fast as the kids and weapons, she's out of there.
Yeah, she's out of there. But they go in, and Stack is dying, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's been bit by Mary.
I didn't like the scene.
No, I didn't like the scene either. This is a tough one too, especially if you're a twin. Not that I'm sure a lot of our listeners are twins, but some of our listeners I think are.
Oh, you have siblings? Oh, some of them are twins. Yeah, it was hard.
Tough. Yeah, Stack's dying. They're in the room. Annie is trying to point out to Smoke that things are obviously not things aren't going well, right? I mean, Mary, they shot her multiple times, and she survived and ran out of there. Even Slim is like there's a problem here, right? But Annie's trying to convince Smoke that they need to get Stack's dead body out of there.
Oh, this is so hard.
Yeah, it's rough because she's trying to say, we need to have only live people in here. The dead bodies need to be out, but Smoke is not accepting that his brother is dead, right? He even says the best part of me is him.
Oh.
That's said a couple times in this movie. It is devastating. But Annie's really kind of the voice of reason here.
Yeah.
Right. She's smart. She's kind of figure out what's going on. They're at risk if they leave Stack in the juke joint. Yeah. But they also tell everyone else to leave. So as you know, there was a lot happening at this juke joint. There were a lot of people in there and they tell them all to leave. So now the only people that are left inside the juke joint are Stack, who's just been killed.
Yeah.
Smoke, Annie. We've got Grace and Bo. We have Pearline still there. She's still there. She didn't leave. Yeah, she didn't leave with everyone else. Sammy's there. Delta Slim is there. And Cornbread has still not returned from going to relieve himself in the bathroom. Yeah, he's gone. But I think it's at this point, right, with Grace and Bo, so the couple that made the catfish and the sign, Bo goes to get the car because they are trying to leave, so he goes to start the car. So Grace is left inside, Bo goes outside, because they are also trying to leave. Yeah. But at this point, Cornbread comes back. Cornbread doesn't seem like himself. Yeah, kind of strolls on in.
No. He's not strolling on in. He's trying to get in. What do you mean?
Well, he strolls on up to the door. He strolls on up to the door.
Yeah.
His personality seems to be different.
And they're like, why don't you just walk on in?
Yeah. And he's he keeps saying they have to let him in. And then Annie's like, why? Why, Cornbread? Yeah. Why do we have to let you in? Why can't you walk on in here you've been standing there this whole time? Yeah. Why? So she's starting to put two and two together. Again, the knowledge that people seem to have of vampires is interesting in this movie. In the beginning, I think she refers to them as hates.
Yeah.
So she's thinking it's some sort of evil thing, right? But they haven't yet put two and together that they're vampires. Not quite yet.
This all happens over one night, right?
Yeah.
So they do.
A few hours.
Yeah, they do acquire some knowledge pretty quickly.
They do. But Annie's the reason why, right? Annie has a lot more.
She's the hero.
She seems to know. Yeah. But we can talk about that. But it is interesting. They do come to terms with it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But yes,
all right, vampires exist. Here we go.
I'm here. Let's do this. This is how you kill them. But yeah, so Cornbread though, he's kind of accepting it, I guess. He's like, all right, then I need to get paid. And Stack's not there anymore. Smoke being the businessman that he is, it's like, okay, I'll pay you. And as he goes to do that, man, Cornbread tries to take a bite out of Smoke's arm.
It's right out of his arm.
Yeah. And so, everyone's kind of obviously freaked out by that, right? Yeah. And you're starting to see that these people that they knew are now trying to eat them,
like very quickly.
Take some bites out of them.
Like they turned really quickly.
Yeah. And so that's happening at the front door. Meanwhile, we hear knocking at the back door that Stack's dead body was left in.
Aww.
Knock, knock. Stack is back, everybody.
Stack is back. Yeah. I personally would be so excited if you died and I heard you knocking.
This is like Pet Cemetery all over again, everybody.
This is Pet Cemetery. I'd be like, oh, she's back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, he's not actually dead. And they're like, there was no pulse. Like, Stack was dead.
Yeah.
But
lives on.
Smoke is excited about this. Yeah, but Smoke's happy, right? His twin brother's not dead. He's knocking at the door. But Annie, again, she's like, yeah, it's not him. This isn't right. It's church. So she's really trying to convince them that, do not let him out.
Yeah.
Right. And meanwhile, kind of Stack's getting more violent.
Yeah.
Right. Pounding on the door. Smoke is clearly distraught over this. Like, do I let him out? Do I listen to my ex-wife or wife, Annie? But Stack's getting more violent. He just eventually kicks that door down. Meanwhile, Annie, I guess during this time, Annie is start to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
So she's starting to think like maybe these are vampires and I do know a way where I can hurt them. So she pours this liquid on him and it burns him and he goes running away. And so they ask what it is and she's like, it was pickled garlic.
Oh yeah.
Right. So she's now confirmed her theory. Yeah. That these, cornbread, these white people who came to the door, Stack, that they are vampires. Ooh. And because they asked her, like, what did you throw on him? And she says, pickled garlic. And so she lets them all know, like, we just need to hole up here until sunrise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only they listened to her.
Yeah, if only they listened. But they do. It is interesting how quickly everyone accepts that vampires exist in the world.
But I feel like if you're faced with that, like you see some stuff, like you're going to kind of quickly accept it. I actually like that they accepted it. They were like, you're lying.
Really,
it was the opposite of what you would see in a horror movie.
Wait, she was a trusted person, right? And he was trusted by, I think, the whole town. Right, so everyone's accepted that these are vampires and now they're prepping, right? What do they need to do to survive the night effectively? Yeah. So it's like they need garlic, they need wooden stakes because if you stake them with wood, that'll also kill them. Silver will hurt them. Holy water. And so we learned from Annie too, she lets kind of everyone know that vampires, their souls get stuck in the body. So they have a connection. Even if the one that created them is killed, they still have a connection. So it's interesting. They sort of have introduced a new theory, I guess, in this movie with the vampires and kind of the connection to one another and that sort of hive mind thing. So we're starting to see some of that and Annie's explaining some of that to them. So Annie's kind of, they're all preparing. Annie does make Smoke promise that if she does get turned, that he has to kill her before she becomes a vampire. Right. So again, another important pivotal scene, I think, in the movie is when he says yes, he'll convince her, and they have someone waiting on the other side for them. So meanwhile, while they're prepping inside and all this is happening, the vampires are, they're doing some sort of, they're in a circle and they're doing some sort of Irish folk dance, right? And they're all doing it.
I'm like, what in the river dance is happening?
Yeah, they're river dancing. I don't even know how to explain it.
Fun. River dance in a circle. They're all like, it's like a hoedown.
No, I know. I'm just, how do you explain that? It's just such a disjointed part of the movie. Yeah. So it's just another type of music. They're all, I guess music is connecting them and they're dancing. The main Irish vampire guy is great in that scene. But yeah, so lots of Irish folk dancing happening. And there's also a lot more people out there at this point. So this is something I did not clock the first time I watched it, but I did on the second time. So clearly all the people that they released all got turned.
Oh yeah, you didn't clock that. You clocked the other stuff. Yeah, they all got turned like immediately.
Yeah, they all got turned. So there's a lot of them now. I mean, like hundreds at this point.
Yeah.
So we go back inside. So that's all happening outside the Irish folk dance. So they all know how to do it. They're all just expert Irish folk dancers.
Highland dancers.
Yeah. And then inside, Annie has a good idea because what if someone inside is a vampire, right? We need to find out. So she's got her jar of garlic and she's making everyone eat it.
Yeah.
Because if they are a vampire, not going to be able to eat that, it's going to burn them. So a familiar scene we've seen in some horror movies. But they now just move that garlic around the circle. They all take a bite. Pearline seems to not be into it. She does not want to do it.
Right.
Right. And so that's kind of making them skeptical of her, but she eventually does do it.
Because you, like you,
who wants to have
also
a bite of that?
Familiar scene.
Easier way. Yeah.
Familiar scene with the garlic.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Talk about it later. All right. Slim eats it and seems like Slim you're like, oh no, is Slim a vampire? But no, he just has issues with it because he's been drinking the whole night. Yeah.
That's just disgusting.
Yeah.
Not a vampire. Gross.
I know. Yeah. So, at this point, I said this earlier, right? Grace's husband, Beau, went to go get the car. So he's coming back in to get her.
Yeah.
And again, kind of acting a little different. And as he turns around, he's like, come on, let's go. We see that has a scratch mark, a bite mark on his back. So Beau has been turned as well.
She didn't seem that upset. Like here
was turned. She's more upset about, so I think, she's not less upset about Beau, I guess, but she is more upset because they say that they're going to go and get her daughter.
Yeah.
So Beau and Grace have a daughter who's in the town and they're going to go and kill her. So this turns something on in Grace. So she wants to leave.
Yeah.
But she's trying to save her daughter. So that's, again, a pretty important scene of the movie. I think another scene, when the vampires come back in, they're letting Grace know that they're going to go kill her daughter. They also do, and I didn't necessarily clock this the first time either, but they allude to them that this was a slaughterhouse, right? So they are telling them that this white man who sold it to them, that their plan was not to let them live through this.
Right.
Yeah. So he is some more foreshadowing is what's going to happen later on in the movie, but basically these vampires are trying to save them from that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, right? They kind of can see the future and they're letting them know this is a better way. Become a vampire. You can live forever. Can't see the sun again, but you can live forever.
Immortality,
Yeah, immortality, exactly. But none of them want that. They want to live their current lives. So even Stack comes in, right? He's trying to appeal to Smoke and saying it's better this way. But Smoke, I think with the help of Annie, is convinced not to do that, right? To fight and to try to make it through the night. But Grace isn't doing well. So Grace is convinced, as they said, that the vampires were going to go kill her daughter.
Yeah.
So she's distraught. And man, does she make a mistake. She just invites them all in.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Grace invites them all in. And so now those few that are left in there have no choice but to just defend themselves.
Yeah.
Right? They all get their various different weapons. They know what's coming. There's hundreds of them coming in.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but yeah, she screams, invites them in. So now they're just sitting ducks. So they all come in and the next few minutes are just a bunch of vampires basically destroying all of them.
It's so good though. This is where the violence really
it's incredibly violent. Yeah. A lot of blood, a lot of violence.
But you're kind of waiting for it, right? The big showdown.
You are. You do kind of know it's coming. But yeah, Stack bites Annie. Smoke kind of does what he's asked earlier and stakes Annie, right? So Annie dies. She does not turn into a vampire.
Yeah.
She did not want to turn into one. Grace goes out. I think she gets set on fire. I think is it her husband she kills? So Grace dies.
Yeah.
Annie's dead. Stack is getting Pearline and Sammy to go out. Slim, I will say, Delta Slim, right? Man, what a character.
Yeah.
He sacrificed himself so that Sammy can live.
I know.
And so he cuts himself and just is like, have at it. Like, come eat me, right? Come turn me.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This blood's good.
There it is. Yeah.
Everyone protecting Sammy, yeah.
I know, they are. They are all trying to protect Sammy. But yeah, so Pearline gets bit and she tells Sammy to go. Smoke is up there. Stack is trying to go after him to turn him. And they're fighting and Smoke is like, no, telling Sammy to go. So Sammy is able to escape the sawmill and he goes out, but he is encountered by the main Irish dude vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're fighting it out in the water. We're sort of seeing that happen as Smoke and Stack are fighting inside. And you don't exactly see what happens there, right? You assume that Smoke kills Stack, but you don't actually see what happens.
You don't know how twins think.
Yeah, you don't. But yeah, so, they're fighting. You don't see what happens. But yeah, meanwhile, Sammy's out there in like this puddle, this lake, something out there's water there now because it's creating. I can't quite recall.
Yeah.
They're fighting. So there's all the vampires and he's fighting with the main guy. He has his guitar and he just hits that main Irish dude over the head with this guitar and it severs, I guess, his brain. I don't know how all that happened.
I have a little bone to pick with that. It's just wood.
Yeah, you and your bones to pick, yes.
Well, wood.
It's a metal piece. No, but it's some sort of metal piece that goes into his brain.
Like a guitarist wood, there's like a tiny, maybe piece of metal, but it looks like it's like a circular saw going into this dude's like head.
It does look like a circular
I'm like,
saw.
that would not come from the guitar. There's no way.
Yep.
I mean, I get the symbolism, but like, no.
Yeah,
No.
I know. But this does something to kind of the rest of the vampires, right? So they're all kind of freaking out. It's affecting them as well. But meanwhile, time's passed and the sun is coming out.
out.
All they had to do was survive the night, all right? Sun comes up and burns everybody.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, they all die. Yeah. So all the vampires died because they were all outside and they just couldn't run away. We know what happens with Sammy because we saw it at the very beginning of the movie. So he goes back to his dad's church.
Yeah.
That beginning movie, his dad's trying to convince him to become a minister like him, but he drives away. So we learned that, Sammy does not choose that path. He chooses the music blues path.
He takes the little piece of his guitar and drives off.
Yeah, exactly. So the only one left back at the sawmill at this point is Smoke.
Yeah.
Everyone else is dead.
Yeah. I'm the only one left. I'm like, he's the only survivor.
Yeah, he's it. It is just him. Everyone else has been killed. But he knows what's coming because of what the vampires told him earlier, right? That this was a slaughterhouse, that those White Clan people are going to come and kill them.
Yeah.
And the vampires were right about that. But Stack's not going down without a fight, so he gets his guns.
So good.
He hides, buries some guns, he hides. He's going to attack them when they come.
Guns, grenades. Like he has everything.
Oh yeah, grenades, everything. But he was a soldier, right? I think we learned, they set this up at the beginning.
They traveled the world.
He has some training, so he knew. Yeah, so I guess he fought in World War I. So yeah, so he knew. So the KKK comes to the Duke joint, and the door's locked. And I don't know who they're expecting to be there. And I am confused by this. Who were they expecting to be there at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m.?
I don't know. They thought the party was going to go on.
Everyone to be there? Yeah, I guess they did.
If it weren't for the vampires, the party would have ended earlier. Right? So
that's true. Yeah, I don't understand. They didn't know the vampires existed.
Yeah.
So they were coming to kill everyone. And Stack ambushes them because he knew they were coming. And so he just starts shooting everyone. And man, does he shoot everyone.
He goes like full Rambo. It is the best scene ever.
I like when he had the gun hidden. He like buried a gun.
He did. He buried the gun. He comes out with this machine gun. Oh my God, it's so good.
It's good. Yeah.
It's so good.
He comes out and he gets everyone. And I guess someone's driving away. Someone does get him. So
but he doesn't like flinch. Like he does get shot. He kind of looks down.
He keeps going.
He just keeps shooting his gun. It's so good.
In the end, the two people that are left are Smoke and that initial white man who sold him the sawmill, who's clan member. He's even trying to offer him money.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, at that point, dude's like already bleeding out from the stomach.
Yeah.
But he does get a cigarette from him. It's kind of one last thing. So Smoke knows that he's dying as well.
Yeah.
He sees a vision of his dead baby and Annie and getting breastfed by Annie. And so he's accepting his fate that he's going to die. And he just, puts a bunch more bullets.
Finishes him off.
White Clan man. Finishes him off. And that's the end of the 1932 part of this movie.
Yeah.
I believe it goes to credits at this point, right?
It does. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, that's it?
So it goes to credits, but how did you know? Did you know to stay for the rest of it? I guess they were showing scenes throughout.
No, I was kind of like delighted by the movie. I was just watching the credits and then it happens pretty quickly. Yeah. I did not know of it.
So it's credits and then you hear some music and it goes to an older gentleman who has these scars on his face and you're like, oh, that's older Sammy. Yeah. So Sammy did become a blues star.
Yeah.
Right. So he's been traveling the world. He's giving a show. He's older. So
in Chicago.
19. Yeah, it is in Chicago.
1992.
So it's now 1992. Mm-hmm. So it's 60 years later. So he's 79.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Sammy's 79, giving a show. After the show, he's having a drink in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And
the the bartender asked, there's just people at the door.
Yeah, the bartender, there's
and
like
we left them
people
in.
that want to come see you. Oh, he does say, can we let them in? That's right, because they had to be invited.
Yeah.
So Sammy's like, yeah, invite them on in. And who is it? But it is Stack and Mary.
So good. And like their
so
best
Stack and Mary
90s garb.
didn't die. Oh yeah, it's great 90s. I like the hairstyle. I like the colorful outfits. So Stack and Mary survived, and they are coming to see Sammy.
And
we learned that.
So Mary she has like a lollipop, right?
She has like a lollipop.
Blood flavor. Because like, you know, I've watched Twilight, some of these other things, like they don't eat. It's not like she's like sucking on this. It's like a prop.
Maybe it is.
I think to go back and rewatch it.
Blood flavored lollipop.
Yeah, because she's like, I'm like, they don't eat though. I mean, from what I know from Twilight, right?
Yeah. I think there's different rules in this movie with the vampires though, but you know, maybe it is it's red.
Yeah.
Maybe it is blood flavored. Yeah, that's a really good point. Not something that I noticed for sure.
I did.
But we learned too that the reason Stack survives, so Smoke did not kill him, but he did make him promise that he would not go after Sam.
Yeah.
So it's been 60 years. They waited all this time. Sammy plays him some music. Basically, Sammy's kind of near death.
Yeah.
And somehow these vampires can, I guess, smell that.
Yeah.
He plays some music. They're really excited about that. Talks about how that night before the sun went down was the best day of his life.
Yeah.
So it's a really pretty emotional, actually, final scene.
It is.
But yeah, it is. In Stack, they don't hurt Sammy. They go along their way.
Well, they offer him immortality. If they ask him if he wants it,
but he doesn't want to take it.
And he says the iconic quote, right? He says, I think I've seen enough of this place. Yeah. So at that point, I mean, they've been vampires at that point for 60 years. So they're kind of
60 years
able to control their hunger, right? Is what we're kind of assuming. And they just kind of offer it to him and leave. So there's like a bit of humanity in them.
There is. Because it's interesting that Stack's holding that up because Smoke died 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, like I made a promise, I'm going to keep it.
Yep.
So it's got some ethics. Yeah. But that is Sinners.
Yeah.
So we got through it, Ash. We did it.
Oh, fantastic. What a movie. Just a delight to watch. And a little bit of kind of behind the scenes facts. It was filmed in Louisiana, not in Mississippi. It was filmed in New Orleans, some other places in Louisiana. Even though it said it was in Mississippi. And I love this. So everybody knows, like Michael B. Jordan, he's nominated for an Oscar. Like he was fantastic. Although I think Sammy
was Delta Slim as well.
Delta Slim, yeah. And
he's supporting actor.
I'm so excited for the Oscars. I can't wait to see kind of what unfolds. But the star of the show definitely was Sammy, like just with the voice and like everything. It was kind of his story. But for the twins anyway, they had twin consults that kind of came in and told them kind of what to do. So
wait, really?
So Ryan Coogler grew up in California, like NorCal in Oakland. And he had these twin friends from his childhood.
Yeah.
And he was writing the story about twins. And like, they could have just cast twins, I suppose, but they cast Michael B. Jordan because they worked together before and, why not? And then they had twins like come on set and kind of tell them like how they would act, like the subtle personality changes and like their mannerisms. I find it so funny because you and I, like we're different, but we have similar voices and mannerisms.
We do.
Right? But they made Smoke and Stack, like you could tell who was acting and which was, Michael B. Jordan, like a credit to him. But yeah, they had twins come on and kind of like, how would you sit? Like, how would you like block this scene?
That is so funny.
Yeah, like so hilarious.
But also you're not like aware of it as a twin. I find that interesting. I guess maybe they observed them, right?
They observed them. Like, how would you do this scene? It was kind of like that. And then he kind of like took note and made changes in the script and like how he was going to shoot it. And then I guess like the best scene in the movie is that one shot, right? The oneer that we talked about where they're playing and going through all the different genres.
Music scene, yeah.
And that was saying
that's like, I think why, like one of the reasons it has been nominated for as many Oscars as it has. Because a lot of cinematography too. It wasn't just Best Picture. It's also nominated for, I think, the most, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, it is the most. I think it sets a record. But that was shot in one day. And so they obviously rehearsed a lot of it and like had like actors coming in and out, but it was shot in one day.
Everyone was in it too.
Yeah.
Everyone was in it. Yeah.
And I guess it was added last minute. It wasn't in the original script, that whole scene. And it was added last minute. When people read the script, they didn't know, and it was added last minute. In terms of how they shot it, obviously there was a body double for Michael B. Jordan. So it was a gentleman called Percy Bell, and he looked like Michael B. Jordan, but clearly you could tell like in some of the scenes that, because it wasn't like CGI, it was like just another actor, right, acting in it. And then so I said, I get to this. So Miles Catton or Caton. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sammy, but that's his real voice. So he does have that deep, and like happened during puberty. He has this like deep voice, is like crazy. And this is crazy. So he was a touring musician with her, H.E.R. Musician. He was a backup singer for her. And I guess like it was very secretive, this movie, right? But he got wind of it or something, and someone told him to audition, and she was very supportive as well. He sent in a self-tape audition of him singing the blues song, and he got it. And then they set him up with a acting coach and a guitar coach because he never acted before. And I don't think he played a lot of guitar. First role. Yeah.
But he's actually singing.
He's singing it. Like it's him. Yeah. And that's his like real voice. So someone had like spotted him. I think she was doing a tour, and someone had spotted him and like said that he should audition for this movie. And I guess, so it was really like secretive, because I know there was a huge like promotion once the movie was out, but when they were filming it, it wasn't. It was very secretive. It was under like a veil of secrecy, and they had a code name for it. And you'll never guess what the code name was. It's super weird. Grilled cheese was the code name for this movie. Well, I don't know why. Like, I have no idea.
Ryan Coogler like grilled cheese?
I don't know. Ryan, do you like grilled cheese? Ryan Coogler. But yeah, I guess that what it was. Yeah, the nickname for it. And then this is a nice horror connection. So there is significance to the date that they went to, 1992, October 16th, 1992, was the date in the post-credit scene where Sammy was on stage as a 79-year-old man performing in the bar, which was named after Caroline.
Oh, right? Caroline.
Yeah,
okay.
He named it after her.
Yeah. But, he did. Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he named it after her. So like,
oh God,
it's like Titanic.
6 years ago. Yeah,
the first woman he was ever with, he named it after her. Like, yeah, very Titanic, right?
Yeah, she died.
Yeah, she sacrificed herself.
Yeah, for him.
But okay, there's a significance to the date, October 16th, 1992. Do you know the significance of that date?
I'm trying to think. Is it Silence of the Lambs?
No, Al, it's not Silence of the Lambs. Good guess.
Is it a horror movie?
It is a horror movie. So that was the date that Candyman was released, which was also set in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. And he died. Wait, when did the Candyman actor die?
He died recently. Yeah. He was in Final Destination, the last one, which was awesome. Yeah. By the way, we need to cover that. All right, we're moving on to Screamometer. I feel like we're going to argue, but I'm going to let you go first. What's your Screamometer? Okay, go ahead.
All right. I'll preface this one with, I don't think I have the same feeling you do for this movie. Mm-hmm. I will say I liked it better on second watch. Mm-hmm. The first time I watched it, I think there was so much buildup that it was the best horror movie of the year that I had a lot of expectations going into it.
Yeah.
First of all, I do not consider this movie a horror movie.
Yeah.
I don't even have a scare that I can even speak to. But so I'm giving this one on the Screamometer a 1 out of 10 for me. I don't consider it a horror movie. I think it's more of a drama. I think there's a thriller potentially. Not a horror movie for me. Nothing. No jumps. Nothing in there. The KKK stuff was scary.
Yeah.
But it's a 1 out of 10 for me, Ash.
Okay. No,
sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me say this. I agree with you on the scares. I actually gave this a 2.
I should hope so.
A 2 out of 10 on the Screamometer. I wasn't scared. There was a few jump scares, which I will talk about. I was very affected by this movie. For me, like in terms of a movie, it's a 10 out of 10. And I've watched a lot of the Oscar contenders. Like I watched One Battle After Another. This beats it by, like, I think it's way better.
Really?
Marty Supreme. Yeah, I think this movie is insane. It's so good. The music, the acting, the script, the originality. I just absolutely love it. I think it's actually, it might win a lot of Oscars.
I think it's going to win some Oscars. I don't put it up there as one of the best pictures of the year for me personally.
I disagree because I think it's so stylish. It's so good. It
is stylish, but some of the lines I can't. I don't know about the screenplay for me.
Well,
some of the lines were a little much.
When I was watching the other night, I'm like, this is fantastic. Like I waited to watch it. I think it's so good. But I agree. It's not like I don't think it's a horror. I think it's just a really good movie. It's horror for like 15 minutes, I guess. But yeah.
But it's not horror, but it's thriller, maybe.
It might be like, mis-genred, right, in terms of how they were classifying it.
But I think it helped it, the way they marketed it, though. And maybe a lot of people, maybe my barometer's off, right, because it just takes a lot to scare me. But when it was being marketed as a horror movie.
Yeah.
And then when you watch it, you're really expecting that, which is why I think I actually enjoyed it the second time more.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't expecting craziness to happen because I knew what was going to happen. So I caught some things that I missed the first time.
That's true. Okay, this time for Sip and Tell, where we discuss our personal experiences related to the content of Sinners. You're smirking. I feel like you have something.
I have one thing.
Okay.
That, I mean, you will know this too.
I know the one.
Maybe the same thing. Maybe the same thing. So Ash and I grew up in a town called Miramichi, New Brunswick, Canada. As for those of you, we've talked a bit about it on this podcast, but for those of you who don't know, it's actually the Irish capital of Canada.
Yeah.
And Irish dancing, that folk dancing, was a big part of it. So we had this Irish festival every year. You know, you knew a lot of people. I didn't do any Irish dancing myself, but you knew a lot of people who did it.
We were in a song and dance group.
Irish dancing. We were, but we just didn't. I didn't do the Irish folk dancing. But so that, you know, that music, the dancing. I mean, we grew up with that.
Yeah.
So I was, it brought me back. There was a lot of nostalgia there watching that scene.
Yeah, a lot of nostalgia.
Is this your Sip and Tell? That was my Sip and Tell. It reminded me of our childhood.
No, and I'm disappointed. I have a few for this one. Hence why I connected maybe to this movie so much.
Okay.
Well, I have a couple. I have a couple that I think you should have mentioned. Number one, when the snake gets killed, when they kill the snake. I mean, you literally had something happen to you in California. Why don't you tell that story?
Oh, yeah. So current husband and I were driving home from dinner. It was nighttime, and we were driving in our driveway up by the garage. And you just see this. There was this like brown and orange
California.
snake.
Yeah.
Huge. And it was huge. It was like this, it wasn't as big as the one on the movie.
Yeah.
But it was there. It was disgusting. Like if you open that garage door, it was going to slither its way on through there.
Ew.
But I don't know why we had one. I know why. We had a machete in the garage for cutting off the palm tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like, why?
I did have one for that. So current husband goes into the garage, gets the machete, and just slices that snake in 2 or 3 pieces, 4 maybe,
On
a few
the
pieces. Yeah, that snake met his demise that evening. And it was creepy. It was slithering around, but then you felt that, you know,
it was slithering around after he chopped.
So I don't. To be fair, I don't. I think I like watched the first bit and then I got out of there.
Yeah.
And then you felt bad, you know. I didn't want it to that be its last night, but I didn't want it slithering around our house either.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. You're right. I should have mentioned that. I should have remembered that.
I mean, that was burned into my brain as a traumatic experience. I wasn't even there.
Posted a video on social media
of the dead snake.
I think so.
Ew. Okay.
Somewhere. Maybe not a dead snake, but something. I will look and find it.
The bloody machete.
I'll post it.
Okay. Well, okay. I have a few. Another one from our childhood, which I thought actually you were going to mention. Speaking of prohibition. So, okay. We grew up in a really rural, small town where the nearest liquor store was like a 15-minute drive away?
Maybe 20, yeah.
But we had what they called, I don't know if anybody else can relate to this. It might be super weird. We had what they called bootleggers.
I think people know what that is.
Okay. So it's people that, did they make their own like moonshine or did they just buy alcohol and resell it?
They bought alcohol. They sold it specifically on Sundays. So it's like in Maryland right now. So back in the day, liquor stores weren't open on Sundays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you tell it.
You could go to these this one woman, which was, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes away. She sold alcohol at your house. Yeah, it wasn't moonshine. There were that. I have a friend whose family made moonshine, but
okay.
No, it was, you would buy alcohol from them.
Okay.
Because they sold it on Sunday or when the liquor store was closed. So that,
Got it.
But I think she was called a bootlegger, yes.
So we just had memories of our father growing up, like going to the bootleggers. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway, that definitely happened.
Yeah.
Oh, the reason I love this movie, I think, is the musical aspects of it, right? So I'm a musician, singer. I've played in many bands. I've been to these places, not the juke joint, but I've been there where they're offering to pay you. It was fun offering to pay you in beer, you know, and like you see that you're like, okay, like I've been places where you don't get a card at the door. You're like, we'll give you free drink tickets. We'll give you some like free drinks. I'm like, okay. But back in the day, like sometimes they wouldn't even pay you, and it was exposure, right? Well, you get like good exposure for this, which is such a ripoff.
Yeah, I don't think Delta Slim was getting a lot of exposure.
Exactly, but like
At the juke joint.
yeah. But sometimes I would go and I'm like, well, I don't even get like free drink tickets. So I'll just like bring my own like drinks. I'll like have them. And one time I was like caught. They're like, well, you can't have your own drinks. You're getting kicked out.
That's right.
I'm like, well, I need to play later. So what are you going to do? Like, I need to play. And so they let me stay. Like, I think my bandmates were like, she's okay. She's fine. And like, I apologized. There was no one at the bar at that point. And then I played the set, and then he was super nice to me after and like brought me drinks. Right. I'm like, well, you should pay us something. This is ridiculous. So I never.
Delta Slim got to drink as much as he wanted all night.
I never felt bad about it. But the best I've ever gotten paid, besides you would get paid, it was on the up and up, but oftentimes it wasn't. But you still had fun. Like it was like a fun vibe. So I would, deal with it. One time though, at a bar, at a venue, if we'll call it that, in Missouri, we got paid with it was like a jungle juice, they called it. It was like a weird rum vodka drink. And then a vat. It was a vat of like mini, I don't know what to call it, like mini hot dogs and like in like a barbecue sauce. 27 link guys can back me up on this. It was in Jeff City, Missouri, and the guy comes over, very nice man actually.
Was this at a bar? Or
yeah, it was at a venue,
middle of nowhere.
It was in Jefferson City, Missouri. It wasn't like in the middle of nowhere.
They had jungle juice.
Yeah, it was like jungle juice. Like it was like a cocktail mix. They paid us in that, and they're like, we'll feed you, and they brought us out this like vat of like little like hot dogs. I remember it.
Oh, like yeah. No, I've had those. Those are good though.
They were good. So at least they like fed us, right? But I mean, this rang true to me. I was like dying laughing because I'm like, yeah, sometimes you don't get paid, but you do it for the love of music, right? So
yeah,
you're just like, well, I just want to play, and like it's fun and connecting with people, but it's kind of a thankless job sometimes. But I think that's also why I really like this movie. The music kept him going. The love of music kept him going.
And then Delta Slim still sacrificed himself.
Yeah, man, exactly. All right, it is time for Sips and Scares, where we discuss the scariest parts of the movie. And apparently, according to you, you don't have any. Not a one.
I've got 0. I mean, if I were to choose one, Ash, it would be when the snake came out of that truck.
Yeah.
I guess I was a little like, oh, no, I've got 0.
Like,
0. You're like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
No scary parts in this movie. I mean, again, other than the KKK members, I mean, that was just horrifying.
Yeah. Horrifying.
But no jump scares, nothing for me. I do want to hear what you have, because I really don't think there were any.
I think they lined up the jump scares with the music, because when that snake came out, like it was like, so they did a good job there.
One. I think there were more. What other ones?
I thought when the Irish vampire kills Bert and the wife comes back, I thought that was kind of scary. When Cornbread like grabs the guy's arm and he like shoots him at the end, when he grabs Smoke's arms, I thought that was kind of scary. And I mean, I agree with you. There weren't like a ton. I thought when the vampires went straight up in the air and they don't show the kill, they don't show any of them turning.
I did like that they didn't show them.
Yeah, turning them.
I liked that. And you just kind of saw, like, but when Bo clearly turned, and when he turned around, you saw the scratch marks on his back. I liked that part too.
I like that. And I actually liked kind of like the tension at the end when Sammy's on stage and like the two vampires coming, and then you find out they actually aren't really threatening. I just liked it. I mean, yeah, scary, absolutely not, but I just enjoyed the movie, and I like the tension and the thriller aspects of it. Okay, it is time for cliches and ripoffs. So there are a few for this movie. So what ripped off it? What did it rip off? What are the cliches?
Okay, so the number one, which I don't know why you were so shocked when I mentioned the garlic scene earlier.
Yeah, what?
So,
okay, I think I just forgot.
Okay, this is huge for me. Okay, you must have, because that garlic scene when they're passing the garlic around to see who is not a vampire, completely ripped off from The Faculty when they pass the drugs around to see who's an alien or not.
I mean, The Faculty isn't something that like I really. Okay, sure.
Which is ripped off from, I believe it was The Thing, where they did something very similar in it. So no, it's the exact same scene. They passed it around, and then the one who actually is the alien somehow is able to block it and not actually snort the stuff. Remember?
Oh yeah, no, I do remember this.
Snort it.
Yes.
Yeah. The woman snorts it, and she like turns.
Yeah.
Like, all these like worms and stuff in her. Yeah, it was the same thing where they are in the circle and they pass it around and everyone has to have it. I mean, 100% inspired from that movie, which I believe was inspired by The Thing.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a huge one for me.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I didn't think of that at all, but I knew it was like familiar. I just didn't think of it. I mean, clearly the skeleton key, right, with the hoodoo, not voodoo, and just the whole vibes right down in, and it was filmed in Louisiana.
Well, apparently it was in Louisiana, you said, yeah?
I thought it was, Pet Cemetery we talked about, right?
Cemetery, yes.
It basically was Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? We've talked about this before, but like I'd be okay going back as a vampire. I'd be like, okay, let her out.
Yeah, you would. Would you want me to turn you, Ash?
Yeah, I would.
You want to be a vampire with me and we live forever together in the dark.
I would do the opposite of Sam. Like, let's go.
Yeah,
but I want to be like the same age as you. So like if you died at like 25.
So I'd turn you right then.
Yeah. I'd be like, let's go. I mean, we'd have fun. I don't mind. Like, I like the fun, but we'd have fun. I thought actually, so the new Halloween remake, I thought like the whole scene where they're like in the bar and having the party, it's like Halloween.
Oh,
the remake when they have the Halloween party and like Michael Myers is outside and they're trapped inside that bar. Very, very similar to that.
Oh, it is. It is.
Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. That movie from like the 80s, the 90s, not like Britney Spears. No, not Britney Spears. It's this movie with like Ralph Macchio,
he's like a
blues musician
from home or something.
Yeah. And he like sells his soul to the devil. He's playing this like blues music. It's very similar to that.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't think Ralph Macchio was like an actual singer. But go watch that movie. It's kind of like a not very well-known movie. But also kind of a coming of age movie. Very, very similar to that actually. I forget the year that it came out, but almost, that was kind of ripped off from that. And then the biggest one is, this is all over the internet, From Dusk Till Dawn, right? The George Clooney,
the vampire,
Quentin Tarantino. It's the exact same thing where they're like on the run and they go to this bar, this like, I don't know, this dive bar. And then they find out it's like a hiding place for vampires and they have to survive the night. It's almost like exactly a remake of that. I think it's, with the music pieces and all that, it's a little different, but very, very similar. Okay, it is time for alternate endings. And guess what?
Oh, tell me there's alternate endings this time.
We do have somewhat of an alternate ending, yes. Okay. So we talked about the post-credit scenes, right? So the one that you talked about, he's at his bar, which he named after Pearline, whatever her name is, in Chicago. Yeah. And then there's a second post-credit scene where it's young Sammy singing This Little Light of Mine in like the church. So that's another one, but that's not even what I want to talk about. There's a whole other alternate ending that the director, Ryan Coogler, they had filmed or they had cut together. And it would have left you with a very different feeling, I think. So the one that we saw, everything was separate, right? So we saw Sammy go up to the church, have the interaction with his father, and then him drive away. And then as a separate sequence, we saw the big shootout with the Ku Klux Klan, right? With Michael B. Jordan just kicking ass and killing everybody. Killing everybody. So in the alternate version, it's all sequenced together, right? So he goes back, when Sammy's driving back, he goes into the church and the father actually plays a more prominent role. And there's a lot more about like, sing to the Lord, not to the devil. And he's like singing in the church. And then while he's singing, it's cutting back to Michael B. Jordan killing everybody in the thing. And then at the very end, it goes to a flat, and it almost looks like he's decided, okay, I'm going to be a church man. I'm going to like sing in the church. And then at the very end, it's like the flash forward of him playing in the blues bar in Chicago. And that's how it ends.
Oh, it doesn't have the vampires at the end?
No. So that was the alternate ending. You can watch it on YouTube. It was cool the way it was shot because like it's just kind of all together. But in my mind, it was a very long movie. But in from my perspective, I think that each segment deserves its own, right? Like on its own singular.
Yes.
Viewing. Yeah, I agree. And I don't think it would have been as effective without that post-credit scene. Like I loved that, and him kind of choosing to die.
I loved it. I actually think the post-credit scene made the movie. And the second watch, I'm like, I really appreciated it more. I think without it, I didn't like the way it ended, right? But I think it made the movie. I will say, I mentioned this earlier because it evokes a lot of emotion in it. When he's talking about, when they think back on the day, and I think it's Smokey's thinking back before everything went haywire and how they were all working together to do the juke joint because they never showed you any of that. They went right from getting everyone to the nighttime. That's incredibly emotional because they're all happy and they don't know what's coming.
So that's another part, not alternate ending, but that's a cut scene. So there's a whole like extra 18 minutes.
Okay. So they put it together there. Yeah. It's sort of out of place, but it's beautiful.
There's 18 minutes where they talk about, there's like a part where the vampire goes to the Irish, the white people, the Ku Klux Klan house. And like they show that they were like infertile, like trying to have a baby. So I guess they were more susceptible to becoming vampires. And then the part that you're talking about, there's a whole section where they're showing them working together, setting up the juke joint.
Yeah.
It's just, the thing was like 2.5 hours, right? Like you couldn't make it any longer.
Yeah. They showed it, but it fit where they showed it.
Yeah.
Because, you're just like, I think it was Smoke thinking back, right? That's when he thought back about kind of how good it was just 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I agree, like the ending, I love this movie. I think it was fantastic. I think it actually might win the Oscar. I think it was actually better than...
I don't think it's going to win the Oscar.
Did you watch One Battle After Another?
I haven't.
I think this is better, just in terms of the whole movie and how it ends. I think this is better. I actually think Martyrs of Fame is better than One Battle After Another too. So I think for me, those were like the top movies of the year.
It's just the screenplay for me, just some of the lines. Yeah, I think. Who wrote it? Did Ryan?
Yeah, he wrote it. He wrote it, directed it, and
I just
produced
think
it.
some of the lines were in there to just evoke for viral moments on TikTok. Like. I don't know.
It's just so good.
Some of that didn't really ring true for
Have you ever rooted for anyone more than Michael B. Jordan at the end with his machine gun, like Rambo shooting everyone up? Like that is so good.
The fact that he killed everyone
by himself.
No, it was very like the Tarantino almost right at the end. Like it was nice. Like not another Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood almost at the end. You certainly were rooting for him.
You know what's interesting? And if you haven't watched the other movies, like shut it off now. Okay, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and
I have not
and
seen
this
Marty
movie.
Supreme yet.
Oh, okay. Well, there's just a lot of them have a violent thing. The movie.
Okay, well, I have not seen Marty Supreme, so please, or One Battle After Another.
Okay, well, I guess I just spoiled it for you. I mean, it's not a spoiler. There's just like, there's a lot of violence.
I have it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll watch it later.
All right, it's time for the villain. Who was the villain of this movie, Allie? You have very strong opinions.
Yeah, there's one villain and one villain only.
Okay,
in this movie.
everybody. She's very
all right,
confident.
Vampires. Although I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to say who I don't think is necessarily the villain on rewatch. The villain, 100% in this movie, is Grace.
Yeah. I could tell you were going to say this when you were giving the synopsis.
Well, Grace was incredibly selfish, willing to put everyone's life at risk when all they had to do was survive the night because she wanted to go save her daughter. Yeah. Like it was incredibly selfish. And her daughter turns out was safe, right? Yeah. She killed them all. I mean, Grace is absolutely the villain of this movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was Grace. I think the first person, if Haley Steinfeld, if Mary never got back in, would anyone have gotten back in? So I think it wasn't necessarily her, but people not like asking questions, right? When people just kind of coming in.
Yeah.
So
because they knew her.
Right. So just not being like vigilant, I think to me was the villain. Also just thinking music is like the devil's music. Like I hate that. I always hate that. I mean, like, come on, music is powerful. It brings people together, but like, it's not killing people. I mean, in this case, apparently it was.
I mean, this case apparently did. Apparently it attracted the vampires. But I will say the scene where where the vampires tell them about the future and how the KKK members are coming to kill them. They were offering them a way out, right? They all just turned at that point. They would have been okay.
Are you saying that they are the heroes? The vampires are the heroes of this movie?
I'm saying they're the heroes. I'm saying I don't know necessarily if they're the villains, is my point.
Well,
they were all going to die.
I agree.
They were offering them a way out.
No, that's a really good perspective. And also, like, once they got over, like, their hunger, lust, or whatever, at the end, I mean, they were chilling. They just came like, hey.
happy.
Hey.
I don't know, Stack and Gary seemed happy.
They were really happy.
Okay, it's my point.
Because they could live now as an interracial couple, right? Whereas they couldn't live like that in 1933 or 32, whatever it was. Yeah. But now that it was the 90s, and they were like styling. They were like, walking around.
Styling.
And they were just offering Sammy the same thing. But he would have been like at his current age, right? So maybe he wouldn't have wanted that.
A 79-year-old vampire.
Yeah.
A 79-year-old. Yeah. But I wonder if you get like abilities though.
Yeah, maybe.
You probably don't carry with you. They seem like they could fly and run fast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like the worst thing in the world. It is time for Sips and Simmering Questions. And we have one this week coming to us from Michael Myers. And this is a great question. And the question was, what tricks will work on you to let the vampires in? What do you think?
I honestly, as a skeptical person, as someone who
Allie's like, nothing
would be freaked out. I'm not sure anything would. I don't think anything would. If someone came up and they're like, and they were telling me to invite me, and I think because I've seen too many horror movies and vampire movies at this point, I don't think anything would let me in unless it was you.
Yeah,
if it was you and you had been turned. And you're like, let me in. I probably would. Yeah. So I think that's it. So if it was you, if it was my twin sister,
would you? Okay.
I would let you in. Probably no questions asked.
Okay. So here, Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Now I know if I ever become a vampire, I can just, get right on it.
Come on in. You're welcome.
I think
It's an open invitation. All right.
I think, okay, you've been drinking all night. These people, right? People coming up, like you would think it was a joke, right? They're like, hey, let me in. I'm like, yeah, sure, come on in, buddy. I don't think they would have the mental clarity that you think they're going to have to like figure this out. I really
wasn't
don't.
drinking. Annie was the one that like
they weren't. Annie wasn't working the door. They should have put Annie at the door then if they wanted, right?
Yeah.
So what would work on me? I don't know. If I'm like putting myself in that place, especially if I was like the dude like playing all night. I don't know. I'd be like, haha, Jimmy, come on in. I feel like I would just let them in.
Anything would work out. I feel like I would be easily. Like I wouldn't even think. I wouldn't think anything of it.
Easily fooled.
Yeah, sure.
I'd be gone. I'm like chilling in the afterlife. I really think so.
You can kill everyone else. But I want to post that to the listeners too, and we'll put this on socials when we post the episode. But I'd love to hear what would work on you.
Yeah.
Apparently nothing on me, and apparently Ash anything.
Come on in. I'm like here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for Sips and Screams episode 27, Sinners. Thank you so much for joining us and listening today. Join us next time as we sip on more themed cocktails and discuss the good, the bad, and the truly terrifying of our favorite horror movies. Cheers. Cheers. That Irish beer.